OCDetailing, and I have a Model S behind me and I have a Model Y behind me, and I want to talk about some of the differences between the two cars. First thing I'm going to talk about is price point, because the Model S is a much more expensive car than a Model Y. You can get a fully spec'd performance, pretty much every option available on a Model Y, and you're barely scratching the surface on a Model S. So they kind of are in a different class, which makes them a hard comparison. At the same time though, they're both Teslas, they're both awesome, they're both electric, they both have really great range, so it's worth comparing, because you know, there's a lot of people that would really love an S that might find themselves being drawn to a Y because you can just save the money and get everything you need out of this car. I feel like it's pretty close on a lot of aspects, so let's go through some of those. Since this is a crossover and this is a luxury sports sedan, they look very different. This car, the Tesla look, even though it's kind of aging and they've had that model around for a while, and you know, the last refresh was in 2016, it still looks great. The car does not look dated. It looks very modern, and when you see one going down the road, it's almost unmistakable. The Model Y kind of looks like a blown up Model 3, or maybe a Model 3 and a Model X. Had a couple drinks one night, and then this was what was produced as a result. So, you know, it's a cool looking car though, by all means. It's just a lot of the features are a lot softer than they are on, say, the Model S. On this Model Y, it is a performance. You do have these Uber wheels. We waited a long time for these, and they look great. Like, these wheels were on a prototype Model 3 like years ago when Elon first did the preview of it, and now we finally get them on the Model Y, and it looks really cool. On the Model S behind me, it has the stock 19s. Although we powder coated those black, it's still a really good looking wheel, and just not as aggressive because that's not a performance S. Across all the Teslas have traditionally looked like this, but on the Model Y they deviated. They made them, they squished them a little bit and made them a little bit taller. So the mirror is actually a little bit shorter, it's a little bit taller. It just looks kind of out of place to me. Maybe it'll grow on me later, but as of right now, I think it looks out of place. The trim on a Model Y, this already comes all blacked out. We actually had to do that for this Model S. So, you know, like, this is traditionally chrome on this car. But with the Model Ys, they went ahead and they just give you it's the only option you can get is to have it all blacked out, which is really cool. It makes the cars look way more aggressive. So it's funny that like they went with on this, the choice of black they went with is actually satin black, which is the most popular chrome delete we do. It's this is satin black vinyl, this is satin black plastic. So one thing that I do appreciate about the satin black on this is that it matches this wheel trim. It always looks out of place to me on a Model X when you have all the chrome trim everywhere, then you have these black arches. I thought they should have body matched them, which would have looked a lot better, in my opinion, but they didn't. So a lot of times we had a bunch of customers come in and we would do like a chrome delete on this, and then sometimes we would body match these things with different kinds of vinyl, which you can get close. It's not perfect, but it looked a lot better. So on the Model Y, they really put a lot of focus on aesthetics, because you know, it just seems like it's weird that they just randomly deviate on one of their cars and they start making this black unless they cared. So good job, Tesla, because that looks way better. This Model Y, again, very similar to a Model 3, actually almost identical, but very different than a Model S. It's a lot simpler. You have a steering wheel, you have two rolling knobs, and you have the control center. Cool thing is though, in a Model Y, you get built-in wireless chargers. I know they sell those now for that car. The screen up here in the OS, it's really simple, it's really user-friendly. You know, you start out with your big map, you've got your basic controls up here, open the front, open the trunk. You got your stocks, you've got a wiper control, you've got a gear selector, and this actually engages your autopilot in here. And then you've got your knobs to control things like, well, you can actually assign those to different things. Above you, big panel roof in this car. Like, it's huge. It's straight out of, actually, it's almost the exact same as in a Model S. You don't have a bar breaking it up like you do in a Model 3, so you feel really open in here. The seats, you're sitting really high up, so you feel very comfortable. Like, the visibility is pretty good. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say this because my buddy Mitchell commented on one of our videos. He said, I bet the rearward visibility is as bad as the 3, and I commented, I was like, I don't remember it being that bad, but now that I'm looking at the rearward visibility of this out of the mirror, it's pretty bad, Mitchell. I think you were right, buddy. It's like, this is actually, I would think because of that, just looking out of this, it would be really hard to see something kind of low unless your backup camera was on. So because of the visibility in this is probably something you would have up here a lot to see what's going on behind you, whether you're backing up or not. Just even in tight turns and stuff, I could imagine, or leaving a parking lot, which it comes on when it's in reverse, so probably not that big of a deal. But yeah, the rearward visibility out of this is not great. Let's go check out the inside of the S. Should I talk about room in the back seat too?
You can do that now while you're here, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you do it right next to each other, that's why.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot easier.
So let's talk about the inside of this Model S. First thing, you open the door and you look at it and you go, Alex is a dirty pig. And there's porn on the screen. He's been watching Pornhub in his car. He watches it at work, he watches it in the car. I'm just kidding. This is actually Alex's Model S. So getting into it, you feel very low. When you sit on Model S, it feels very low to the ground. The visibility out of this mirror is actually, I think it's worse than the Model Y because of the headrest. Like, you can't see. So again, not that big of a deal because Tesla has really good backup cameras. Like, I just got my wife a new Audi, and the backup camera in this car is substantially better than the one in the new Audi. So whatever Tesla does with the backup cameras, they're really, really good. I also had a customer that has a Model X, and he's just got a new Panamera, and he said the same thing. The backup camera was not as good as the one they put in Model S, which I feel like they use the same camera on a Model Y and 3 because it's just a really good camera. It's a wide angle, it's really clear, you can see everything with it. Pretty neat. So looking at other things in here that feels very different than a Model Y or a Model 3, you have two screens. So you have this screen here that will show you how fast you're going, your energy usage, and your map, or you can change it to say a bunch of other things. You have this screen right here that has like your radio and your climate control and also your nav if you want to put it up there. This car does not have an off-road mode like a Model Y does. It does have air suspension though, so you can get to an air suspension setting here. It'll let you raise and lower this car. I think it's up to 5 inches. It'll go up and down. You can literally put them like in monster truck mode, or you can slam it all the way to the ground. It'll let you get pretty low with it. That's kind of cool. But again, that's where you're going into a much more expensive car, so you're getting some different features you wouldn't get on a Model 3 or a Model Y. The things you do get that are very similar to those, like, you know, some of this material feels similar to a Model Y, but not a Model 3. I don't know why. Yeah. I think the interior material that they use in a Model Y is probably a little bit better than a 3 because it feels different. It feels more like the interior in here, which I've driven this car a lot of times because Alex is nice enough to let me drive his car when I don't have one at the shop. And this always feels very premium to me when I drive it. I'm not saying a Model 3 doesn't feel that way or a Model Y wouldn't feel that way, but I don't think nearly as much as this does. Like the way it's, you know, it's got this nice wood in here. It actually is not just one random piece. It's got it that matches other places. The big panel roof. I mean, it's the same thing as like in the Model Y. I always thought this felt very premium. The way the steering wheel feels, the way the dash looks, everything. It's just really nice in here. It's just a very nicely done interior that's pretty simple. The doors on a Model Y. I think are a little heavier. It sounds like it, doesn't it? So we get them to one click. They both close on their own. A Model 3 will not do that. The back seats on a Model Y, so far, I would say is probably one of the more comfortable back seats I've ever gotten into because it's very roomy. It's easy to get in and out of. Again, the big glass roof feels super premium to me. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's really roomy back here. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall. The seat was adjusted for me, and I have plenty of room back here. If I was sitting here on a long road trip, I have the option to recline the seat by pushing this button up here. I could sit back a little bit. I could probably comfortably kind of nap. Well, depending. But it's a roomy back seat. It's really nice too. And you know, it's like, it's very simple. Again, you got a couple USB ports. Also, if you get, you know, if you're hanging up suits or clothes, you have that right there. And then some LED lights back here. They seem to be pretty functional. A lot of foot room. The up and down foot room is actually pretty impressive. in a lot of SUVs you get in, even like cars of this size or bigger, I don't think they give you this much up and down foot room in the back seat. Usually it's less than this, I think. I mean, I get in a ton of SUVs and I don't remember a car having this much room underneath the seat. So it's pretty cool. So let's talk about the Model S. Now the seat is adjusted to where Alex usually sits. Alex is a little bit shorter than me, not much. So again, luxury sports sedan, so getting in it, I'm having to be I'm glad this is Alex's car. I just kicked his door panel. See, that happens. I'm usually so careful too. It's my sleep deprivation, I promise. But sitting here, you can see the angle my knees are at. Even with me sitting like really straight up, there's less room back here than there is in that Model Y, because the seat in the Model Y is set back, same place. Or Alex, is your car an easy entry?
No.
No, so this is where your seat would be. Yeah, so this is actually, there's less room. But look, I can't even lift my toes up without hitting the bottom of his seat. So there's more room. Not that this is bad though. I mean, this is actually, you could sit back here comfortably. You actually could spread your legs, and then you could charge by the hour, and you would be very comfortable back here. It's got the big glass roof. That's super cool. There's no coat hangers back here though, like there are on the Model Y. So there's why aren't there hangers in here?
Can't hang coats.
Yeah, okay, so the LED lights in here are much brighter than the ones in the Model Y, but they don't have a coat hanger in here. That's really weird. You would think this being a little bit more of a premium segment, you could picture guys like having suits hanging back here, but there's nowhere to do that. Huh. I could have sworn that was in other Model S's because I thought I'd seen it before, but this current gen, this is a 2019, and there's no coat hangers in here. So +1 for the Model Y if you pick up dry cleaning. Also, I just noticed on this Model S you have 2 normal USB ports versus USB-C ports in the Model Y over there. So if I just had my iPhone cord, I could not plug it into the back there, but I could plug it into this. I think the Model Y's got a bigger front, which again makes sense because this is a crossover SUV versus a luxury sedan. So you would expect to have a little bit more storage space anywhere it is, whether it be in the front or the back. And it makes sense because look how much taller the Model Y is, so you get a deeper one. The Model S, you have this seal right here. To seal, it seals up against this with just pressure to stop stuff from going in there. But if you come here and look, there's grass in here because stuff makes it through these seals. And I don't think Alex put so much stuff in there, but there's debris in there, and I'm pretty sure it comes from the road because I've cleaned enough of these that I've seen stuff. I've seen evidence to say that driving you can get stuff in here. Where with the Model Y, they put this thing here. So it's like a barrier with the seal, which is really cool. Something very simple add-on there that is kind of nice because I don't see it on any of the other Teslas, and I have seen evidence of debris getting inside of there, which could be annoying depending on what you're storing. Also on both these cars you can do Ballet Mode, so if you're hiding your laptop you watch porn on, you can lock it out so someone can't just open the front and take it unless they have a code. That's what Alex uses his exclusively for. They both have power lift gates. This is really cool. Now, because I know a Model S has a ton of space in it, I'm going to be surprised if this one has more room. I already know that a Model X, depending on what the seating configuration is, has less room than a Model Y with the seats folded down. Unless it has the 5-seat that folds down, which I didn't have a car to compare to. I think this car has the most interior room of any of the Teslas, but let's check it out over here. So on the Model S, you get this big opening over here. You have a cargo cover. This is put here so that people look through your quarter window and think there's stuff back here when there's not and break your window to remove it. On the Model Y, they thought of that. They understand that keeps happening, so they did not give you the option for a cargo cover. I'm just kidding. I don't think that's actually why they did that, but cargo cover is cool if you don't want people to see what's going on back here. And although it's not funny to anybody it's ever happened to, this right here, for our Tesla, had the window broke out 4 times, and then they stopped using this, and it helped quite a bit. So let's talk about folding the seats down. So if I want to fold the seats down in here, I reach over, I push this, and I push it down, and so I push it down, and the seat falls into the seat in front of it, and then I do this, and the seat falls all the way down because the other seat's not set back as far. And then if I were to lift this up, you can see there's a ton of room here, and then you still get the extra storage space down here that you can put apparently a lot of stuff in, like Alex has. He has tons of stuff back here. Is this actually where you keep the porn watching laptop?
Yes.
Oh. And after I found Alex's laptop, I need to sanitize my hands. Not from a virus, from sperm. Checking how much room we actually have in here, I'm gonna sit in here. I'm using myself as a tape measure because with the lack of sleep I've had lately, it's dangerous to operate any machinery. So I think a tape measure could be dangerous. So I'm using myself. If you were camping, you could lay back here comfortably with 2 people. Like, well, someone could be here, someone could be here if you made a little bed, and you have the big panel roof, it looks great. There's a lot of room in here. There's a ton of room in here, actually. This is, yeah. I don't know how wide this is, but you could probably fit a very big TV back here. I'm sure there's a lot more room back here than there is in a Model 3. And it's questionable to me whether a Model X even has as much room as this Model S does. It's big. So the Model Y, you would think would have came in the much more premium, more expensive luxury Model S. A button.
Am I going down?
This is... the buttons are supposed to work to lay the seats down, but they're not. So let me give them some assistance here. There we go. Hang on. Did you get the seats falling?
I saw that, yes.
Okay, now just edit the seats falling to me doing this. A button. See? Ta-da! So there's a ton of room in this thing too. Like, if I were to lay in here, just for a size comparison, you have, I think, an equal amount of space in the back of this as you do in the larger Model S. I feel like the Model S is going to be a little bit wider, but the point of that is that both these cars could haul a lot of stuff. Either one of them would be really good for taking your family anywhere, for putting strollers, car seats, whatever you wanted to load up in these things. I'm sure you would find you had adequate room to do it. They're both really easily accessible because you got a hatch. The back seat on this Model Y is, I would say, very noticeably more comfortable than a Model S because it's bigger. So on a big road trip, not that you would feel bad in a Model S, you would be more comfortable inside of here. And there's no coat hangers in there, so I don't know what you're supposed to play with or fidget with when you're driving around, because in this car there's coat hangers for, you know, one of your kids to break while you're driving, where in there, no coat hangers. Very disappointing. If you are looking for a Tesla and you can't decide between a Y or an S, I will say this: you can think about a couple things like, are you more into sedans or you want an SUV? This car does have off-road mode. It's going to sit a little bit higher. And I believe, even though this car has a ton of storage space too, this one's going to be a little bit better. The deep storage pockets in the trunk and in the front of this make this one a little more usable. Also, it's going to be a lot cheaper. You can get a very fast, fully loaded version of this car before you scratch the surface of what one of these costs. This car does feel nicer on the inside to me. Like, it's got more features. It's got just a more premium feel than the Model Y does. But they're both great. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with either one of these cars. You would be really happy either way. Thanks for watching. I'm Joe with OCDetailing. Please subscribe for more videos when I'm not so tired.